Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today we're going to talk about 5 tips for healthy management of painful and fear-based emotions. You know, at some point in our lives, we all deal with painful and negative emotions, right? I mean, negative emotions like fear, sadness, and anger, they're a basic part of life, and sometimes we struggle with how to deal with them effectively. And it can be tempting to act on what you're feeling right away, but that doesn't always fix the situation that caused the problem or that caused the emotion, right? In fact, it might lead to more problems to deal with down the road. So if we don't learn to manage these emotions properly, they can get the best of us and they can destroy us. So the first step to do this is to identify the emotion. Instead of trying to shut down your negative feelings, acknowledge and accept them. The mere act of identifying the emotion that's underlying that negative feeling can begin to lessen its weight. For example, hi Anitra, good to see you. So for example, fear is often experienced as shortness of breath, a rapid heartbeat, and a gnawing sensation in the belly, right? While grief might be experienced as a heaviness of the heart or a lump in the throat. Good morning, Denise, good to see you. So you can't properly address something that you can't first identify, right? And that's going to require a level of self-awareness that's going to mean that you're going to need to sit with your feelings and truly get to the root of what's going on. But the act of identifying what's triggering that negative feeling, it can ease the burden of trying to ignore or mask the feeling. And it allows room for what was identified that you can then now address it in the right way, right? So the ultimate benefits of this can be reduced stress and anxiety. So then we want to look at eliminating our triggers, right? And our interpretation of thoughts about events and memories and judgments and beliefs and values and expectations and observations, all of those things give rise to our feelings and our emotions. This is our self-talk, right? It's how we talk to ourselves all day long, right? And it's either aloud or out loud or it's in your brain, right? And then what you tell yourself in any given moment can be helpful to help you figure out exactly what it is that you're thinking, right? It also can be the cause of most of that upset or distress that you're feeling if you're not careful. Because sometimes we have negative self-talk that we just talk all day about bad things things that aren't helpful to us. So let's take a closer look at an example of how self-talk related to the same situation can result in 3 different emotions. So suppose you're meeting a friend at a coffee shop, but she's 20 minutes late. If you tell yourself, she's late, I can't believe she's wasting my time like this. I have better things to do than sit here and cool my heels. That feeling is probably anger, right? If you tell yourself, she's late, I wonder if she got into an accident, I hope she's okay, then that feeling is probably worry. If you tell yourself, she's late, I've been so busy that it's actually nice to have a few minutes to myself. I'll just cool my jets until she gets here. Well, that's a feeling of contentment. So, so notice it's the same situation, but it's how you interpreted it, right? That drives 3 very different emotions. So identifying that situation or the trigger that caused that particular emotion, now you can take action steps that to help remove or reduce the impacts of those triggers. Or steps can be taken to help you learn how to manage those triggers so that they no longer produce the intense negative pain or the fear-based emotion that's moving it forward. So now you want to just challenge that unhelpful thinking. So once you've named the emotions and examined the thoughts that led to them, it's helpful to challenge your thinking. Try asking yourself, am I overgeneralizing? Is this really always true? Will these thoughts help me solve my problem or reach my goals? Is there evidence that suggests or that supports the beliefs that I have? And even if it is true, do I really have to be as angry or upset or as fearful as I am? Can I think differently about this? Who can help me think this through? Am I caught up in worrying about the future? Like maybe I'm asking myself, what if this or that happens, instead of staying in the present moment? Hi, Anne. Good morning. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. But sometimes it's just because we're all hung up in the future or what if, right? What if this happens instead of that present moment, right? Anitra says, the later a person is, however, I would want to check on that person to be sure. Well, of course, of course. I'm not saying that you wouldn't check on them. I'm just saying, how do you feel about it, right? What's your feeling? What are you telling yourself? Are you kind of happy that they're late, or are you worried, or are you? Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you're afraid that they stood you up, and you're angry about it, right? But hey, so anyway, asking these questions can help soften your negative emotions and give you the freedom to breathe and think through things in a more useful way. If you're having trouble challenging your negative thoughts, try imagining that your friend is feeling that way, the way that you're feeling right now. What advice would you give to her? Now think how that advice might apply to you. Hi, John. Hi, Don. Good morning. Good to see you. So then redirect those negative emotions. So when you redirect the negative emotions that you're feeling into positive activities, it can be a healthy way to release those emotions. Redirection is about channeling the negative emotions and energy into another activity that allows for emotional release without causing harm. Some of those activities might be physical activity, or breathing, or journaling, or meditation. There's probably a lot more, but each of these outlets provide an opportunity to help you feel less overwhelmed and help you reduce your stress and your tension and your anxiety. Another thing, and I really believe I probably say this almost every time I try to tell you different ways to deal with things, but try gratitude. Seriously, being thankful is a strategy that can act as a grounding force when you're faced with painful and fear-based emotions. Gratitude first draws us into the present moment by taking our focus off the negative stimulus that you're experiencing and causing us to find the good things that exist presently in our lives right now. Gratitude brings us to the now, to right where we are, right here, right? And then it replaces the negativity with positivity by causing us to move away from the negative emotions towards the happiness and joy that gratitude is linked with creating. So taking a few minutes to either write down all that you're grateful for, or even simply to think about them, helps to counter these negative emotions. So you know what? You're not alone. If you're experiencing negative thoughts and emotions, you're not. No matter what your thoughts are, every one of us have had similar thoughts cross our minds. It's normal. It's part of being human, right? But the good news is we don't have to live indefinitely with painful and fear-based emotions. We can take action to help ourselves overcome negative feelings and thrive in our lives. Whatever it is we're afraid of, we can overcome it, and then we can thrive. So whether you adopt one of these strategies or a combination of them, they can be great ways to first understand how you feel, address the cause of what you're feeling, and then develop coping strategies for situations where you find yourself encountering these negative emotions in the future, right? But in the meantime, give yourself a break and try to have compassion and love for yourself. Remember, it's a process, right? We're always on that personal growth journey. We're always growing every day, and it doesn't happen overnight. As long as we're growing and we're getting better, then we're on the right track. So, hey, now I'd love to hear from you. I already know that you have painful and fear-based emotions. See how you are? No, I'm just kidding. I already know it because we all do, right? So what kinds of things help you when you're faced with these types of emotions? What helps you get out of the fear or the funk, right? And keep moving forward. Please get down in the comments and share your thoughts. I would love to hear your stories. I want to thank you guys all for being live with me. Thank you, Anitra and Denise and Anne and Don. Thanks for being live with me today, and anyone else who might be live who just hasn't commented, and anyone who's watching the replay, I appreciate you. So go out there and have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.